Hey, Bandami Sayado, Bandami Bante, Bandami Sale. Good morning or good evening, everyone, depending on where you are. Welcome to our 2023 Pa'al Dhamma teaching series. We're very honored to have Venerable Panyadika Lankara to start a new series on the profound Pali Nikaya study and discussion on its daily applications. We're also very honored to have University of the West Religious Studies Department in California, USA, and Pa'al Sundarabhumi, Indonesia, to co-host this series. The teaching of this series is scheduled for 1.5 hours, including Q&A. Today is part 2. Now, before teaching starts, here are just a few housekeeping reminders. We're using the simultaneous interpretation Zoom functionality for today's teaching. First, let's briefly go over the channel selection and take a minute to select your preferred language channel. So if you see a globe icon on your Zoom screen, that is actually the icon for the language interpretation. Please go in there to select, among the different languages. There's English, Chinese, Indonesian, or Vietnamese, according to your language preference. If you like to listen in English, we suggest that you still go in to select the English channel rather than staying at off or original sound channel. Otherwise, you will not be able to hear the English interpretation from Chinese, Indonesian, or Vietnamese during the Q&A portion. If you use a cell phone or mobile device after you select the channel, make sure to click Done to complete the selection. Please go ahead and select your preferred language channel now. If you have any questions, please send it to Zoom chat room. Just also a quick reminder about proper Dhamma learning etiquette. Even though this is a virtual Zoom session, please dress appropriately, sit upright, and pay full attention during the teaching to show respect to the teacher and the Dhamma. Thank you for your cooperation. Now we're ready for the teaching. May we invite Sado to start the teaching, and interpreter Bante and interpreter Dhamma friends to start the interpretation, please. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Derek and Esther. Our today's Nikaya study and pay homage to the Buddha. Let's recite Namo Tassa 3 times together. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Welcome back to Nikaya study. Today also we are going to continue about the Brahmajala Sutta, which is the Pax Sutta of Digha Nikaya. In the first lesson, we have studied the outline of Brahmajala Sutta. There, the story begins to talk about the 62 round view. You may remember the events and the valuable advice of the Buddha when we encounter someone talking about good or bad of our religion, or still this advice can be applied into different situations. So if someone trying to talk in good way or in bad way, whatever way, we will encounter this situation in daily life, then we should be wise enough to respond properly so that we can prevent the arising of unwholesome states in our mind. Then today we are going to continue studying the 3 sessions of morality. So after giving advice to the bhikkhu how to respond or react to different way of criticizing, then the Buddha continue, if a person trying to praise the Buddha, if he is only the ordinary person we call the Puthujjana, that kind of person is called the person who did not attain any stages of enlightenment. Then that person is called Puthujjana, or ordinary person. On the other hand, it is translated as worldly person, worldly individual, like this. That kinds of individual, if he didn't learn and properly how to praise the Buddha in the higher honors, then he just trying to praise by his own knowledge. He may praise by the moral precept. So let's see how he can praise, or he can and honors to the Buddha by morality. So as we have explained in the past lesson, the moral precepts are divided into 3 parts. So we will just overview the roughly study about the moral session on three moral aspects. So this is the short session of morality. At the beginning, it started. So they can praise the Buddha. The ascetics Gautama dwell in this way and in that way. Then first he emphasized, so abstaining from 3 bodily wrongdoings. In Pali, it is called duccharita, very popular word, wrongdoings. Then wrongdoings committed by the physical body, these are called the duccharita. So the Buddha always abstain from these bodily wrongdoings. That is why he can praise by abstinence of the 3 bodily wrongdoings. Then the first one is, so the ascetic Gautama dwell abandoning, taking our life. This is called the killing. Then in very popular word, as all the Buddhist people, they take precept starting from the Panatipata, Veramani, Sikkhapada, Samadhiyami. That is called killing the living being. So the Buddha never killed any living being. That's why that ordinary person praise the Buddha, focusing on the abandoning of the taking of life, killing life. And in this case, we can understand the canonical textual explanation, how we can practice the past moral precept in the 5 precepts is abstaining from killing. So most of the time, if we just focus on the meaning, I abstain from the killing, that person just know, oh, I'm not killing. This is enough. He's thinking this way. But in the canonical text, it is mentioned that without stick or sword, scrupulous or compassionate. Here, not only avoidance of killing, he avoids holding the stick or sword to harm to other. It means killing is very far. Even I don't touch any stick or sword to harm the others. This is the way how we can keep ourselves to purify the precept. That's why if we carefully read the text and we learn how to practice moral precept in this sutta, and you can learn. If you want to make sure not to commit killing, you need to put down the stick and sword, and also any other arms to harm the others. Not only killing, even we don't harm to the others. Then also develop the opposite quality of the killing. The opposite quality of the killing, compassionate, developing the compassion toward the other. We cannot kill. And also the developing the loving kindness toward the all living beings, not only our beloved ones. And we develop our loving kindness and compassion to all beings, so that we cannot harm and we cannot keep to them. In this way, we can keep our precept in very purified stages. So, okay, so this is the past precept abstaining from killing. Then continue how the Buddha avoids the stealing. There's stealing also. Stealing, on other way, we can say taking of what is not given. Then if we abstain from stealing and live purely, accepting what is given. So here the Buddha is one of the ascetics, entering to the ascetic life. He lived on the almsgiving, going for alms round, Vindapata. Then in that case, he just accept what is given only, and also awaiting what is given. In Pali, this word is very beautiful. Not only abstaining from taking what is not given, not only refraining from stealing, even he does not like to get something is not given. And only when the thing is given to him, he like to accept. So in this case, in order to completely abstain from stealing, we should train our mind not to have the attachment in the other's belonging, other's property. Sorry. Then the third one, unchastity. This is called the avoidance of the sexual intercourse. So chastity, he abandoned unchastity, so he avoids the sexual intercourse in any kinds. Here, the action of sexual intercourse is mentioned as the action of the villager. So those who live in the house, they will have this action. But being an ascetic, the Samana Gautama, the ascetic Gautama, which is referring to the Buddha, he refrained from this kind of practice. So we can conclude he refrained from bodily wrongdoings. So if you would like to practice the 5 precepts purely, and you need to know how to practice, and you can get from this text the information how to keep yourself not to commit. So you can develop the opposite quality of the commitment. So we can understand the commitment they are arising due to the defilements or unwholesome cases, unwholesome causes. If you develop the opposite mental quality of the unwholesome, and for example, here killing, normally we emphasize that killing is committed by the anger. Then if you develop your compassion and loving kindness towards the beings, all living beings, so anger cannot arise and also cannot cause to kill any living being. Okay, so let's continue. Then abstaining from 4 verbal wrongdoing. So here the false speech, musawara in the precept. Then the malicious speech, prusa vacha. Then, the pisuna vacha is called in Pali. Then harsh speech, the idle chatter. So abstaining from 4 verbal wrongdoing. This is ethical practice. Then let's see how one can refrain from verbal wrongdoing or false speech. The opposite situation of the true speaker, not only avoiding false speech, he trying to speak in the to become the habit. All the time he speak the truth. That's why he is trustworthy and not deceiver of the world. He never lied. And this kind of person, so he keep the moral precept abstaining from false speech. For malicious speech, this is with the intention of breaking 2 person or 2 group. He repeated hearing from this place to that place, and from this person to another person. The intention is to break off their relationship, their loving kindness. After hearing this kind of speech, they have no more kindness each other. Sorry. So that's why the Buddha never talked in this way, to separate or to encourage the conflicts. And then he is, other than that, he is a reconcilier, and to encourage those rejoicing in peace. And if they are fighting, he make peace. And if they are in peace and harmony, he encouraged to live in this way and have more, have a stronger state of peace and harmony. And in nature, he's delighting to speak that kind of peaceful war. So the war for peace. And another one, the Buddha always avoid harsh speech, and he just speak in blameless way, and please to listen. When the Buddha give the Dhamma talk or give the advice, he used the words and choose wisely the words that are beautiful to hear, and talking in a way of agreeable. And also the Buddha's word come into the heart and please at this. So this is the way how we can speak. So we can say the guideline of speaking for Buddhists. If you are a Buddhist follower, you need to learn the principle of speaking, the way of speaking in this sutta. So the Buddha is avoiding this kind of speech and making this kind of conversation. As a follower of the Buddha, we also should avoid the conversation that can break the other's loving kindness, and that can cause the other's ear to harm. And also, the last one, abandoning idle chatters, not talking anything which is not meaningful. So how to talk? Yeah, we should talk right time, because the Buddha always talk at the right time, and also what is correct and get to the point. Also, referring to the teaching Dhamma and discipline Vinaya. So this is about Dhamma and this is about the Vinaya. In talking in this way, we keep our conversation in meaningful statement. Then the words are valuable, treasure, seasonable, and reasonable. Well, finally connected with the goal. So in any way, we should speak whenever we talk to someone, and we should connect our speaking to the development of our good practice, Dhamma practice, and welfare. So this is the way how we should speak. So in this sutta, and through the presence of the ordinary person to the Buddha. So this statement is given by the Buddha himself. So we can understand this is the guideline for the having good conversation. Then the continuation of the present is the ascetic Gautama is a refrainer of the damaging seed and crops. So this related to the environment. So one of the rules for bhikkhus is the bhikkhu cannot destroy any seed or crops at this. And to protect the environment, and also the bhikkhu cannot cut the tree, living tree in this way. And then, so abstaining from eating in proper time. So he eat once a day. This is the ascetic practice, not only Buddhists. Some other ascetics also abstaining from eating afternoon. So here, not at night. So eating one time in a day, and that times also, that eating also in the proper time is after dawn time and before noon. So this is the custom of the religious practice. Then he avoids watching the dancing, etc., dancing, singing, etc. So here, using the garlands, perfume, and using the high white embeds, and also accepting gold and silver, and others, many things avoiding. So in this way, we can learn the Buddha himself, he does not accept here gold and silver, and also raw fruits and crops. So as the animals for one's own property, the Buddha practicing the ascetic practice, the Buddha avoid from accepting, because these can lead to the attachment. So still, this is the short session of Moral Brisa. We understand at the beginning 3 bodily wrongdoing, 4 verbal wrongdoing after that, and damagency and the activities, these are conducive to the attachment the Buddha avoids. So by reading this Sutta, you can learn how the person or religious person of the Buddhist, he should practice, he should avoid these all things, should not dance or should not sing, etc. So you get this information to as a moral practice of the religious person. I mean the bhikkhu, the monks, or samanera. Then also here, as a last part of the short session, emphasize that the Buddha refrained from running errands, so buying and selling. These are worldly affairs. So those who are living in the family life, they have to do, but the ascetics should not do. So these are the practice. The short one is we can see the rough commitment or something. At the beginning we should start from this, and also here cheating and false weight, etc. So by reading these models, the session of moral precept, moral practice, you can learn what kind of activity are not suitable for religious leader of the Buddhism, Buddhist religious leader of the bhikkhu or the samanera, the novice. And then let's continue talk about the middle session of the modalities. So here in the middle session, this compared to the other people, other ascetics and Brahmin, those who are not practicing well in the ascetic practice. Then also here mentioned the ascetics and Brahmin coming into the religious life, and they accept and eat the food of the faithful. They are practicing and devoted in religious practice. Due to that practice, the people have the faith on the religious person, and they offer food. They don't need to work for living. Then they offer food due to the faith, accepting this kind of food. And some ascetics and Brahmins are not being well practiced. Then they do many improper action, and these are mentioned in the middle section of the modalities. So let's see. Some addicted to destruction of such seed. So this kind of thing, addiction, they're naturally doing, continuing this way of practice. It's not suitable for all ascetics and Brahmin, not only for Buddhists. You can understand and from this text. So if a person become a religious practitioner, so he can accept the food from the food of the faithful, but he should not practice. He should not continue this kind of practice, destruction of the Sikhs, and Buddha already are trained. Then also enjoyment, different kinds of enjoyment. So storing the good food and drinks, clothing, etc. Then also attending the show and displays for enjoyment. So as the practitioner, we should avoid this. And if not, the people will not be happy to see the religious person is doing this. Same as the lay people. So here we don't need to count all the things. And if you are interested in what kind of show and displays are not suitable for religious practitioner. You can read it. So music show and even the recitation for enjoyment. Then the game and ideal pursuits. So different kinds of game, the people can involve, but for the religious practitioner, we should know. So for the Buddha himself, practicing the meditation of morality, he never participate in this kind of show and never wish for the enjoyment, and also never enjoy the game and ideal pursuits. These are not causative for the practice, emphasizing in the religious practice. So the Buddhist follower, if they want to fulfill the middle section of the moral practice, and they have to avoid as a ascetics practitioner. Okay, so and another page here, still some other ascetics and Brahmins are using the height and weight, referring to the luxurious bed and residence. They are using, but the Buddha refrained from using such kind of luxurious utilities and furniture, etc. And also Buddha abstained from self-adornment. So using perfume and shampoo, etc. So this is normal for the lay people like, but it's not for the religious practitioner. And also an edifying conversation, so talking about the king and talking about robber, etc. These are endless conversation. That's why the Buddha, sometimes the Buddha talk about the king. The intention is to give a Dhamma explanation after that, comparing with reference to that king or robber like this, but not just talking about the king or robber only. So if the religious people are talking about these things, we can understand they are not doing well. We are not trying to criticize the others, but actually this is how the religious practitioner of ascetics can fulfill their moral precept as mentioned in the text. And okay, so continuing the middle session, here some religious person, they are disputing to each other. Also they like to make their disputation each other and suppressing the other person, other's view, and praising oneself. So we can say this is a kind of debate, not just to not only to identify what is Dhamma and what is Vinaya, what is the teaching, but they like to debate each other, develop the debate, and to show up their skill. That's why the Buddha is not doing this. Sometimes we can see later in the different sutta, the Buddha visited to the other religious persons' compounds and discuss. It's just to give a discourse and to let them know what is the true teaching of the Buddha according to the Buddhism, and not to suppress the other's view. So many of practicing this kind of disputation each other, then also running out and messages there's some religious people still they are doing this, and they transparent a message from one to another, from kin to kin or kin to minister, etc. Then, and this is we can consider this is social work. So as a religious practitioner, he should abstain from the social work. And also here, searching for the offering or searching for the property in this way, deception, and also improper way of earning. So Buddha is not doing this. In this way, the ordinary person can see the different way of practice from the ascetics. Those are not practicing well. Then he will praise the Tathagata. Here, Tathagata is another word of the Buddha. So referring to the Buddha. This is the middle session of the moral practice. The worldling person can understand and can praise the Buddha in this way. Or the high, the last session of moralities, we will make short and then you can read by yourself. And actually, just to introduce the moral practice only, this one. And some ascetics and Brahmins still making their living by wrong means of livelihood and by using the base arts. So different base art are mentioned here. So they are not to do, the base art not to do by the, especially, the Buddhist monk, as a Buddhist monk, and by following the disciplines, we should not live in wrong way of livelihood in this way. So this livelihood can be considered as the right livelihood for the lay people, but for the ascetics, for the Buddhist monks especially, these are wrong way of livelihood. So if you want to know which bhikkhu, which monk is really practicing according to the Buddha's teaching, and you can understand whether they are doing this or not, and these are different kinds of the base art the Buddhist monk should avoid. And here, based on judging about the mark or gem, or this is harm, worth, or like this. Also, sometimes sticks and clothes also should be avoided. And predicting the cheap will march off. This is talking about the political issue. And also the Buddha avoid from this activity. And also the base of predicting the moon is how happen, or the sun about the star, and this will affect to the people in this way or that way, and explaining this considers as the worldly affairs. And the base out of predicting still, the rainfall to this year, the bad rainfall or good rainfall, and the harvest will be completed or damaged, and the predicting this. And if we receive any donation as a religious, as a Buddhist bhikkhu, Buddhist monk, through this kind of predicting, this is wrong livelihood. And also based out of the arranging for marriage and engagement, or these are the family affairs. And sometimes, abortion is strongly prohibited, is because this is a kind of killing in Buddhist way of understanding. Then using spells for any purpose, this is the magical power. And worshiping sun or great Brahma. So the religious practitioner of the Buddhism, the bhikkhu cannot do this kind of, the worshiping sun, or this is the traditional affairs. So the lay people can do. Okay, so then another base for round livelihood, appeasing the deva. The deva is separate, or the traditional way the people are doing this, and the monk cannot participate for that case. And also using the spell and ritual raising and bathing, also the making sacrifice and giving medicine. Giving medicine in the Vinaya practice, the discipline for the bhikkhu, he mentioned for only some certain people, the bhikkhu can give the medicine. Then the other matter, worldly people, worldly person, the Puthujjana cannot see more than that. That's why he just prays by the moral precept. But here the Buddha says it is only the moral precept. Moral precept, it seems, it's moral precept in the low level, but actually it is foundation. If you cannot continue in the concentration practice or wisdom practice, we can see that moral precept practice completing the moral precept, it's still good. Still good. But compared to the practice of the keeping right view and concentration and wisdom practice, the moral precept is only the basis stage, only the foundation. Then, so the Buddha have others highest quality to praise, if you understand. So here, he has the super knowledge, and if you understand, you can praise by the higher qualities. But most of the time, the uneducated in the literature, and it's used the uneducated ordinary person, not knowing what are the real qualities of the Buddha. They can praise the Buddha by the moral practice. Then Buddha continued to explain about the wrong view, and Buddha already understand and also not following the wrong view, not holding the wrong view. So as we have discussed in the lesson 1, the wrong view related to the past extreme, altogether 18. So the past group is Sasatawara, eternalists. So the eternalists proclaim the self and world are eternal in 4 ways. So the first way, let's see the first way, how the person claim the self and world as eternal, or the eternity. So let's see the story here. The ascetic practitioner, so not only a Buddhist monk, not only Buddhist follower, this practice can be anyone, can achieve anyone. Here, if a person practice making effort or exertion, then right attention. This is practicing the concentration meditation. We can see according to Theravada literature, this is concentration practice, making effort and application. We can understand this is the work of mindfulness and the right attention. Then he attained the certain level of concentration, the state of concentration, and by that concentration power, he can recall the past existence or one bath. For one bath means he can recall the past life, what happened, where he has been. And also two baths, and continuing that, and the several thousand or several 100,000 of baths he can recall by the power of concentration. So if you like to recall by yourself, you need to practice concentration meditation to attain the certain level of concentration. Then remember in this way, the past life, about the past life, the condition and detailed information of the name, clans, etc. In past life, what happened and what was my name and what was my clan and what kind of food I have eaten, and he can recall. And this is we can see the high level of concentration. If you are successful in the concentration meditation, you can do that. Then after that, because he see the continuum of the life, the past life, not only one, and then because he see the several 100,000 of birth continuing, that's why he claimed self and world are eternal, and barren like a mountain peak, set firmly as a post. It means his view according to his own experience. Based on his own experience, he established this view, self and world, because of these two are eternal, the self of my own and the world outside. They are eternal, existing all the time. That's why the lives are continuing. In this way, he made conclusion and he hold this view. And he claimed in this way, I know the self and the world of eternal. How you know? If we ask, he will say, according to my own experience, discerning the past. I see the several thousand, 100,000s of life. That's why after that moment and studying another life, continue. So there must be the eternal substance to move on one to another life. This is the first way a person can have the round view of the eternalism. In this case, we can understand even the practitioner in the higher level of concentration can go wrong way, can have wrong conclusion about the life. If we don't see, if we don't have enough understanding, it is dangerous to make conclusion. So this person, although he has a certain level of concentration, he go wrong ways and hold the wrong view of eternalism. Then second one, just different, the time period. He has stronger power of concentration. That's why he can recall one period of contraction and expansion. This is the contraction and expansion period is about the war. The war is contraction is the period of abolition. Then, and another one, expansion is development. Then, some people can recollect only one period. This is longer than the several 100,000 of life, longer than that. Even we cannot even count by in the birth of the individual. He can recall as longer period. That's why we can just identify by the contraction and expansion of the world. Then up to the 10, he can recollect and he make conclusion in wrong way. And the third person, the third view, depends on the up to the 40 periods of contraction and expansion. So the former three have the same system to have the round view. The difference is only the time period they can recollect. And the last one is just a logician and reasoner. He's just thinking about following the logical way and reasoning. He made the conclusion, and the self and what are eternal, existing all the time, must be, then make conclusion. In this way, we understand how the person can have the wrong view for eternalism to become an eternalist. So this is the first group. Then for the second one, in order to understand the second group, and we should know about the cosmological system of the Buddhist, well, according to Buddhism. So here, the sensual world, sensual sphere, we can say the sensual plane of existence 11. Then after that, higher than that, and by the power of concentration, especially we emphasize the jhana. By the power of jhana, one can reborn in the 16 5 material sphere plane of existence. They are the name. And after that, if one can develop the immaterial sphere jhana, he can be reborn in the any of the 4 immaterial sphere plane of existence. Then here I would like to introduce some information. So altogether, 31 plane of existence. You can count 11 sense sphere and 20 Brahma realms, and 31 plane of existence. There, and the second jhana, the last one, the realm of radiant lustre, which is called, in Pali, it is called Abhasara. Okay, so let's see another chart here. I think this is more clear. And starting from the woeful state, the woeful destination. If you cannot read this word, don't worry, and the organizer can share this image later on. You can read. And here I just want to introduce the Buddhist cosmic system, and 4 woeful state. After that, the human realm. After that, the 6 Deva realms. Then 20 Brahma realms. If you can go beyond, then only Nibbana. So here, there is called the Rupa realms, the realms of form. There, the first jhana plane 3, after the second jhana plane. Then here I like to introduce the word Abhasara. This is the word Abhasara, and the time period, the word is destroyed by the fires. At the time, the lower realm of existence, including our worlds, our human realms, all are destroyed by the fires, and all gone. Then beings, most of the beings reborn in the Abhasara realm. Here you see. Then later, when the war again restart and develop, at that time, the realms, Brahma realm, come to appear. Then from this realm, some living being died according to cause, and then they were reborn here as a Mahabrahma, as coming down. Then later on, the other Brahma also will come, and the way of thinking will be connected to the next group we are going to talk about. So here, Abhasara is second Brahma realm. Then the Mahabrahma is here, and the other Brahma also will be in the same stages of first jhana realm. Then another one to know is here, Asanya Satta. Before we continue our study, and according to the Brahma realm, we need to know this information. Asanya Satta, the realm of this is translated as non-percipients, no perception, and also no consciousness, no mentality in that realm of existence. Only materialities exist, but still considered as the Brahma realm. So this kind of individual only have the body, the physical body only, no mentality, no mind. You can consider like a dead person there. And so I'm keeping this information, and let's go back to our study about the round view in second group. Okay, so in second group, partially eternity. The first group totally eternally, but in the second group, partially. So it means some are eternal, some are not eternal. So for the pathway, when the world system is contraction, most of the beings are reborn in the Brahma realm, the Abhasara, second stage. Then later on, they die in that realm of existence, and they fall from their realms, and they reborn in the empty Brahma realm, the lower one, as a Mahabrahma, the highest one. So at the beginning, he is only one person, only one being in the new realm of existence, new residence. Then later, he think he expect other beings to come because he is alone. Then at the time, the other beings also dying from the Abhasara. Then they reborn in the same new realms. At that moment, the one who initially reborn and expecting, he is thinking that by the concept of creator, related to the concept of creator. Actually, according to Buddhism, beings are not created. Beings are born according to their cause. We call the karma. Then at the moment, he is expecting, and then the other living beings are coming to appear. Then the Brahma is thinking that due to my thoughts, they appear. It's me, I create them. My mind create them. So I'm a creator of this being. And the fathers, I'm the father of all living beings here already have reborn, and also in the future will be. In this way, he thought by the concept of creator. In the same way, the newcomer of the living beings are also there thinking, oh, this one, before we arrive here, he already exists in this realm. And also he has the stronger power because he's a great Brahma. That's why he seems a creator and he must be a father of us. In this way, they are misunderstanding each other. The first one to the newcomer, and then the later they are thinking this is creator of us. Then later, the one of the Brahma in that group, because the newcomer, they have the shorter lifespan compared to the first one. Then one of them, they die, and they die and they reborn in the human realm. After that, he practiced and attained again. He practiced, attained the certain level of concentration. Then he recalled the past existence. Then only one, the last existence, he remembered, oh, I was found the Mahabrahma who created us in that realm of existence. Then he made conclusion that Mahabrahma is eternal. The guys like us can die, and for myself, I died there, and and I'm reborn here. That's why such kind of being like us is not eternal. That's why he hold the view of the partial eternity. Partial eternity. Okay, so this is how the person can hold the partial eternity according to the first way. This also according to his own experience, his own power of recollecting the past life. Then second way is related to the Ketapadosika Deva. This is a kind of Deva corrupted by the pleasure. So in the second and the first and second Deva realm, we can see some kinds of Deva. They are addicted to the merriment, enjoyment. They over enjoy their sensual pleasure of Deva realms. Then they lost their mindfulness to eat. Then because the Deva physical bodies are very subtle, that's why due to the lack of nutritive support, they die. That kind of Deva is called the Ketapadosika. He also come to reborn in the human realm, and he recall, then he remember the last life as being this kind of Deva and dying. For that case, he made conclusion, such kind of Deva, those dying, corrupted by the sensual pleasure, are impermanent. But not that kind. The other kinds are continuing in their life. They are eternal. In this way, he get the partial eternalism. And the third way is based on the Manobodosika, just different kinds of Deva. This kind of Deva is corrupted by mind. So Deva also depends on their causative gamma. They are in different level of appearance and the body shape and the property or enjoyment. Then some of seeing each other's property and they develop envy. Envy connected to the anger. Then their body also, because their body is very subtle compared to human body. For human being, although we have the envies or anger, we don't die. The recently. But for the Deva, it is not like this. For the Deva, if they develop envy to the certain level, they die. After that, they reborn in the human life, and they recollect that their life, the last life, and they make conclusion in partial eternalism. And the last one, just logician and the reasoner, he think in this way, eye, ears, nose, tongue, and body are impermanent, is partially. Then, but for the mind and conscious now, is not permanent, because and this not impermanent is on the permanence and self. This is self, because he see the decay of the eye and ear and nose change, but he don't understand. He does not understand the change of the mind consciousness. That's why he thought this is equal to self, existing all the time. That's why, and if we make conclusion about the life and world, some part is eternal and some parts are not eternal. Okay, so let's see the another group. This is the Andanandawara. This is finities and infinities. Also, this a person with the certain level of concentration, he trying to perceive the cosmic system, and he cannot reach to the end. then he made conclusion. The wall is he see in certain level, certain area, and he cannot continue to see. Then he made conclusion. This is finite, and if I want, I can go around the wall system. That's why the wall system is finite. And for another person, he cannot see the end. So he made conclusion the wall is infinite. And other person, the wall is finite up and down because he see the up the end and the down the end, but he don't see the end in across. The wall system is continuing. That's why he make a different way of conclusion. The wall is in some case finite and in some case infinite. And for the logician, he made conclusion neither finite or nor infinite. In this way, this also another wrong way of conclusion. Then the irregulars. This is avoiding and not holding, not giving the specific statement. And the ascetics of Brahmin, he does not know whether this one is good or bad. Not knowing this, he consider, I don't know really what is true. And if I claim this is good and bad, etc., and this might be a lie. After that, and distraction, and due to the distraction, there will be hindrance to me and fear to lie. And he gave the statement, I don't see this, I don't see that, like this. This is how he is giving the evasive statement as the reference, the errors. This is a kind of fish very difficult to hold. And second, we also, the not knowing the truth, he fear to develop the attachment, and then he avoid to do that. Then the third way, he's afraid of the others, ascetics and Brahmin, really the wise person, they are skillful and they can come across to examine me and asking the question. And I may not be able to reply properly. Then there will be a kind of disturbance for me. Then the last one, dull and stupid, that is the person. And due to the dullness and stupidity, he make this kind of evasive statements. So you can read how he made the evasive statement, very complicated, very hard to catch up. Okay, these the round views. For the last one, I think in the next lesson we can continue for the last slide. Thank you very much for your attention, and let's continue Q&A session.
Thank you, Sayadaw, for your teaching. I believe we have about 22 minutes left. Perhaps after a few announcements, can we open the floor for today's questions?
Okay.